This is Siofra's Magic Alcove, and I am Siofra Bradigan. There's always a lot of different subjects that we can talk about, but today I thought I would talk about Enochian magic. It's a completely different system than most of the other systems. You can look up where it originates rather easily. Just look up John Dee and you'll get all the usual information about him being the astrologer of the queen, and him and R. Kelly doing all of their scrying in order to get the Enochian Tablets and work with the angels and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here to talk about the practical methods for creating the tablets if you want to work with the Enochian system. And like everything else, everything's got their own base. So, first off, the watchtowers of the elements are mentioned in Wicca quite a bit. In fact, that's one of the standard calls for the elements. Hail to the watchtowers of the east, or air, or what have you. And I'm not alone in not knowing what the watchtowers were in the beginning. There's always more to learn. So the watchtowers are actually a physical representation of a set of beings for each element. And this, let's see, would be this way. So this is the watchtower of air, or east. Now, for those of you who are not really aware of Enochian in the first place, or in any way at all, each of these symbols that are in each of these pyramidal shapes, which are represented by these four squares with the top, represent the Enochian alphabet and different Enochian beings that represent each letter. I mean, it's a very complicated system, but before you can get started, you need to have your stuff, right? So, as you can see from looking at this, there's a large cross shape in the center. And the purple that I picked for being spirit is always in the center of this, in all of the tablets, all four of the elemental tablets. And then the color on top tells you which tablet this is. And in this case, we picked yellow to represent the air element. The original drawings for these tablets use those symbols that we've talked about before, where you've got the thing that looks like a triangle facing up, triangle facing down, the triangle with the line through it facing down for earth, the triangle with the line through it facing up for air. And each one of these pyramids represents the elements surrounding that particular being, or what that being is made of, what it's composed of. So like, for example, this one pyramid here is all air, and you'll find that on each of the elemental tablets there'll be some that are all just the element itself. And so that would mean that this letter representing this being would be all air aspect. The one below it would be not. It would be spirit and air. So anyway, when first looking at the diagrams, I thought it would be very difficult to, just at a glance, figure out what elements were being represented in each of the pyramids. And so I decided that I would use the color coding in order to make it easier to distinguish those elemental properties at a glance. And so, because of that, I have chosen the yellow for air, the blue for water, the red for fire, and the green for earth. And I've kept the same colors throughout all four of the tablets. And like I said previously, the purple is for spirit, or the akasha. So there's other patterns that are in all the tablets as well. you'll notice that there's numbers that go from 1 to 10 across in this direction, and that is a pattern in each of these pieces here, like so, on all four corners. So these crosses in here represent the Kabbalistic tree of life, and they're all numbered the same on each of the tablets. So you have 1, and then 5, 3, 6, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there are some patterns that become immediately obvious when you color code it like I did, so that you can visually see those patterns. And again, each of this, although this is the tablet of air, it is in the 4 quarters in the air tablet. So this is the air corner, and this is the water corner, this is the fire corner, and this is the earth corner. So let's say for this being down here, this particular being, although it's on the air tablet, has got 3 fire and 1 air for it. Or the one next to it has got air, 2 fire, and 1 earth. And it's a different being altogether. So it gives you some hints as to the properties of that particular spirit. They're kind of cool to do. I used regular acrylics in order to paint these. And got there's a type of board you can get that already has the lines in them, invisible lines, or they call them something like that. Ghost lines, I guess that's what they call it, ghost line stuff. And that made it easier for me to make these even. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 squares across the top. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 across the side. So you've got 12 times 13 squares, or pyramids, in each of these tablets. So it's time consuming. It definitely takes a while. You want to get yourself a really good pen. We found a sort of, not a felt pen, but a type of ball pen that seemed to work better with this. And the center parts, I'm still not completely certain about all the different significances for the symbolisms in here. But in here you have the planetary and astrological symbols. And so I'm learning more as I go. But that would be the first tablet. And, you know, you can make them any way you want, but this is what we came up with. And then we put a hanger on the back, like so. So now we can actually hang the tablet in our temple on the wall for when we get ready to start working with these beings. So that would be the air tablet. And each one of these tablets is going to be completely different to a certain extent, except for, as previously stated, that center cross there, and then the numbered crosses in each of the 4 corners. So you can tell, if you look in the center parts of this, by the colors, red and purple, that this is the fire tablet. And so you'll find on the fire corner, which is the fire of the fire, at least 1 or more beings that are all fire. So again, you've got each one of these sections. This is the air of the fire tablet, the earth of the fire tablet, the water of the fire tablet, and then the fire of the fire tablet. So you can see, same but different. Same number of pyramids or squares in there, and some of them are slightly different sizes around the edging because I wasn't sure exactly how we were doing them when we started, but they all seem to work out pretty well. And again, there's a hanger on the back. beings. So this, as you can tell from the center, which is blue and purple, is the water tablet. This is the watchtower of water. And again, it's the same kind of thing. Each tablet is different, but they have the similarities. And so this is the water of water up here. And in this case, see, you have two beings on this tablet that I can see right away that are all water. They're actually the same being. Surprise. That might mean something. Anyway, so the same type of patterns are applying there, but and again, this is the air of water, the water of water, the fire of water, and the earth of water. So one of the reasons why we decided to use the pentagram that we do use with the different sections associated with the different parts, you know, the different points, because this is actually a representation of that same pentagram, except they have the spirit point in the center of this, but that would be this top point. And then this one, of course, would be the earth tablet. And you can see how much green is in it. It makes it really clear as a bell that there's a lot of earth in this tablet. And the earth beings, in this case you have two that are in the earth zone, all earth, and they're two separate beings, not the same like the ones we found on the fire tablet. So anyway, interesting. And just to give you a little bit of an overview, very little overview, each of these pieces here are individual spirits, but then you can put groups of them together to get larger, more complex spirit beings and longer names. That's another whole subject all itself. But if you're going to do Enochian, I really recommend you make your tablets to start with so that you have some idea of how they work. And I find it fascinating that the watchtowers are actual physical things. That was pretty cool to learn about that. And no matter how long you're involved in any kind of magic, there's always more you can learn, and for me this is a brand new thing, so I like learning new stuff. Then there is a smaller spirit tablet, which is this one. You can see how much more purple there is on this. And each one of these represents one of the elements. So this is the fire, the earth, the water, the air, and the spirit. So each one of these lines is a set of beings that control all of that element. And so it's one of the other things. That one's easy to make to start with, you know, if you want to get some practice. So it's not as complicated. So there you go. There's that. And then, which is the top to this thing? And this is the Sigil D Amen.
Ameth.
Ameth. The Sigil.
Truth.
This is the Sigil D Ameth, or the Sigil of Truth.
God's truth.
Sigil of God's truth.
More or less. D is God, and then Ameth is truth.
Okay. So Sigil, God, truth.
Yes, basically.
Okay. We got that straight? I cannot explain to you how to make this. This was my husband's project. But you can find pictures of this, but he has made some significant changes and alterations into it, discovered what he considers definite errors in transcribing and so forth, and figured out what the pattern is supposed to be, at least as far as we can tell. And we're going to do that in a completely separate video all by itself, because there'll be a lot of notes and that kind of thing. But as you can see, traditionally this is supposed to be on 9 inches of wax. I don't think that would work very well. I don't see any reason why we can't use modern materials for ancient rituals. And if they had this kind of stuff back then, they probably would have used it because it'd be a lot simpler. I'm not sure how they managed to actually carve all this stuff into a small piece of wax. They're probably better at it than we are. I don't know. But anyway, each one of these things around it represents something else completely different. I mean, they're all different zones of the heavens, reality, magic.
These are also all spirit names, though, so every one of these is the name of a particular spirit.
Okay, so every one of these is also a name of a spirit being, probably in charge of something in particular as we learn more about them. And you can see that, like, there's each of these sets of things. You've got a set like this that goes around the outside, and then you have the different shaped, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pointed star in the center, and each one of them has a being that is a being, even though it's just a single letter in the tops of those things. And then inside of each of those things is another being. So there's being here, being here, being there, being there, being there, being there. Anyway, lots of beings. And then you've got them underneath of them. So you've got one here, all the way around like so. And then you've got them in this symbol as well. This is like a hexagon, I think. And then you've got the pentagram in the middle, and it also has the different beings around it and inside of it. So, yeah. So anyway, this is the beginning of working with the Enochian magic system. And as we get farther into it, and also do that one separate video on this tablet by itself and what changes we made for those who want to study it and do it and stuff like that, we'll see how much of it we can share with other people, what we learn about the ethers and the different spirit beings and so forth, and all that fun stuff. So, there you go. That would be, oh yeah, and there's something on the back. It's not completely empty on the back. There's something on the back as well.
Yeah, that's just my own addition there. That's
So anyway, I hope that was interesting, at least as far as a very brief introduction into a complete different type of magical system than most average paganism is. And I am Siofra Bradigan. Have a blessed day.